Hello, I'm Bruce Zimmerman, and this is the Open Line Garden Show podcast for this week. Recently, my wife and I attended the Landscape Ontario Garden Expo. This is an exposition for the professionals in the horticultural industry to show off their newest, latest, and greatest. And these are going to be plants that you're going to see in Ontario this coming spring 2015. So let's start with some new woody plants. The Cthra is one of the new ones. It is crystalline, is also going to be known as Sugartina Summer Sweet, because Cthra is commonly known as, of course, Summer Sweet. Extremely fragrant, pure white flowers in late summer. These are like little short spikes that sort of open from the bottom up. And in the fall, it goes and has a yellow fall foliage. It's going to grow about 3 feet high and wide. It's hardy to zone 4. And you're going to see that this, with the nice dark green foliage, that's compact, dense, sort of rounded, is going to be a great addition to a smaller home garden. Fragrance in the summertime is a real bonus for this one. It will be grown and produced by J.C. Backer and Sons here in St. Catharines. The Cornus Elba Neon Burst. Now, Cornus Elba has been around forever and ever and ever in the dogwood bushes, and we all know them. This neon burst has a bright golden foliage that retains good color in extreme heat compared to the other yellow dogwoods, which sort of flag with color. It's small in stature, which makes it even more interesting. 3 to 4 feet tall and wide, with an excellent fall color and red stems in the wintertime. So what you're looking at is a really tough, easy to grow, compact plant, a newer variety. But because of its yellowing leaves, which are sort of a yellow and gold green leaves, it's going to look to some people as being anemic. It's just the way it is, the way we've been raised, etc. What you want to do with that one is make sure that you put other plants with contrasting foliages. It might look good with some of the golden ninebarks. It might look good with some other Dsia that has more of a red color to it, or even some of the newer barberries that are safer to grow as well. You want a color contrast with other plants around it as well. Use this one as a border, knowing that it's going to be towards the yellows and greens. Make sure that you put a perennial or a taller perennial in front of it that contrasts and shows well against a yellow-green background. The next one is one that I really would like to get into my garden. It's Dsia gracilis, which of course has been around forever and ever, but this one is, of course, Yuki cherry blossom. Now, there is also the one called Yuki snowflake. Now, the difference, of course, is color. They're both new dwarf Dutsias. They're heavy spring bloomers. The snowflake has just masses of white flowers, while the cherry blossom Yuki cherry blossom Dsia have mounds of pink blossoms. It's deer resistant. It has an attractive burgundy colored fall foliage, and as a result it grows up to about 2 feet now and wide. So that's nice and compact, hardy to zone 5. It's going to be produced by Cannondale Nurseries and Spring Meadow Nurseries. Spring Meadow Nurseries is probably one of my favorite American nurseries. There's a few of them out there that I really like. There's Bailey's and a couple of others, Isley's and many others. But of course, Spring Meadow is one of the best breeders and introducers of new plant material. So always near and dear to my heart. Euonymus fortuni Ivory Jade. Okay, it's winter creeper. It's a euonymus. It's going to, in this area, have a problem with, of course, euonymus scale. But in areas where euonymus scale does not seem to be a problem, then this one might be excellent as a low border hedge or accent. It's evergreen, doesn't look like it like all the other winter greens or euonymus. It has the green leaves with ivory white margins. It's got a pink tinge in cooler weather, which gives you a little bit of a change come fall. It gets up to 6 feet across and 3 feet high, so it's going to have to be contained in most cases. Hardy to Zone 4, and it will be produced here by J.C. Backer and Sons in St. Catharines. Now, we've got some hydrangeas coming down the pipe, as we always do. There is always seems to be a plethora of hydrangeas. Hydrangea Lindsay Ann. And this one is going to be known or sold as LA Dreaming. It gives you pink or blue flowers and all the colors in between on the same plant. So if that disturbs you and you have to have ones of the same color, this is not the one to plant, okay? If you add aluminum sulfate to it, it's going to predominate into the blue, and that might be your saving grace right there. It re-blooms during the summer too. It's basically easy to grow. It has been grown and trialed in Chicago and Michigan winters. It's going to be 60 inches tall and 72 inches wide and prefers part sun. It's coming in from Ball Ornamentals. Hydrangea Paniculata Red Diamond. Now, this is a very highly rated hydrangea. It's from a French breeder, Jean Renaud. This is the reddest of all the Paniculata hydrangeas. It's got long-lasting flowers, which is a real bonus because that's what you're looking for. In early summer, it has large white panicles, which are sort of held upright on strong stems, like most paniculatas. These flowers turn pink and then bright red with a purple-red tint. They last several weeks and is a compact grower. That's always my complaint about most of the paniculatas. 3 to 4 feet is excellent for this type of hydrangea. It's coming from Cannondale Nurseries as well. Hydrangea Paniculata Little Quickfire. Now, this is a new dwarf. Quickfire is 1/3 the size of the original Quickfire, which was an excellent to begin with. Creamy white flowers that turn burgundy red as the summer progresses. A perfect accent for small spots. It grows 3 to 5 feet tall, and you'll see it in the Proven Winners Choice color varieties. It'll be grown by Cannondale Nurseries and Spring Meadow Nurseries. Hydrangea Macrophylla Red Sensation Hydrangea. Again, a dwarf, large, bright, red flower heads that fade to a deep purple. It's from Ball Ornamentals and will be grown here by Cannondale Nurseries. Hydrangea Macrophylla Zebra. Now, this is a new black-stemmed hydrangea. Large green flowers that turn white. Blooms all summers. Right there, you've got it. That's green, black stems, green flowers that go to white and blooms all summer. Says an awful lot about it. This is a hydrangea you need to find for your garden when you want change that sort of looks the same. It grows 4 feet tall and 3 feet wide, hardy to Zone 5 from Cannondale Nurseries. Golden Privet. Now, Golden Privet has always been around forever and ever. Even as a boy, Golden Privet was used as an ornamental plant. Of course, it's not as aggressive as your straight privets, And what this one is of course golden ticket. That means it's going to have more gold in its leaves. Fragrant white flowers, which is really quite nice, is sort of a great little hedge. It's going to be 50 to 60 inches tall if you just let it go, right? But if you don't, you keep it trimmed, it could be a nice little specimen or even a small hedge. Hardy to Zone 5 is coming from Sheridan Nurseries, and it loves the sun. So make sure that you put it there when you want the color. Hydrangea Aurora. This is a Haskap. Now, this comes out of the breeding program at the University of Saskatchewan. The fruit is 3 centimeters long. It's blue-black fruit. The bushes grow 5 feet tall and 4 feet wide. Be aware of that. High mildew resistance, which is excellent, particularly here in Niagara. Can be pollinated with berry blue, borealis, indigo gem, polar jewel, and tundra varieties of Haskap. Hardy to Zone 2. Boy, there's a toughie that you can eat as well, and it's good for you. Okay, very high in the lovely black dark, which you want like blueberries, okay? Malus. Now, Malus I've always have a problem with apple scab and mildew and other insects and, of course, fall tent caterpillar and a bunch of others, okay? But this one is called the Ambassador Ornamental Crabapple. It's upright. It's purple-leafed. Its flowers pink. So you've got a great color contrast, great shape. It's excellent resistance to fire blight. It has a dense crown with age. It grows 26 feet tall and only 13 feet across. Still big, but it's that upright look that might be just perfect for some locations along driveways, narrower areas for many, many years. It's coming in from the west coast of British Columbia, Bylands Nurseries. Microbiota. This is an unusual plant. Very, very tough. Hardy to Zone 3. Microbiota this one is called Fuzzball. And it's a juvenile branch sport of the straight species, and it's really quite unique. It resembles a vase-shaped juniper more than it does the microbiota, which is more like a spreading lower, finer foliaged ground cover. Extremely hardy. A ground cover or excellent plant. Excellent. It sort of has a fuzzy appearance, which is the reason for its name. Performs well in soils that are well drained, and that is important. Winter hardy, oh yeah. This is coming in from Star Roses and Plants, J.C. Backers and Son Nurseries. Potentilla, Happy Face, Pink Paradise, okay? This one is interesting in the fact that it's semi-double. It's a clear pink potentilla. The flowers hold their color longer, which is my big complaint with all of the colored, like the non-white and yellow potentillas. This an excellent choice in cooler climate gardens who want low-maintenance flowers. 3 feet tall and wide, hardy to Zone 2. So you've got the hardiness, you've got the size, will not fade under intense heat for the flower color, and it's a pink and it's semi-double. Only way to ever improve this one would probably to make it A, double, and B, fragrant. And we'd almost call that a miniature rosebush. Hardy to Zone 2, J.C. Backer and Sons and Cannondale Nurseries will be providing that one as well. Now, there's a few more. Sambucus or elderberry. Lemony lace. Now, I've grown some of the variegated yellows, etc. And the elderberries do really well until, of course, you find that without the pesticides and systemics, and even that is hard to control, the elderberry, basically it's the insect borer that goes in after them. It's a more of a cut leaf elderberry. It's a little shaggy. It's golden foliage with new growth being red. There's a nice contrast. It will tolerate full sun in northern climates. It's deer resistant. It'll be good in larger areas. It's going to be 3 to 5 feet tall and wide. Loves the sun to part shade. Hardy to zone 3. Has the white spring flowers and red fruit in late summer. So it's good sort of to mix this one in with other plants into a border. But we can say that about all of the elderberries. But nice contrast. I think I'd plant this one just to see how it does and performs. Though I think that the golden Cornus Elba dogwood might be a better choice. Who knows? We'll see. Let's see. Spirea. Now, Tor Gold. It's also known as Glow Girl, which is the way you're going to see it in the nurseries. Glow Girl Spirea. It's got a bright lemon lime foliage. I get a problem with that because sometimes it looks a little anemic, okay? But the spring flowers are pure white. It's tidy. It's compact. It grows only 24 inches tall and wide. Hardy to zone 3. It's going to be a proven winner's choice for color for flowering shrubs, and it's being grown by Jeffrey's Nurseries. Thuya Fire Chief. Now, I like Thuyas, okay? Basically cedars, right? Fire Chief cedars. This one is interesting. For those of you who know what a Rheingold cedar is, it's sort of the very fine foliaged, ball-shaped, eventually gets really quite large, up 3-4 feet across and high. And it has that sort of shaggy yellow look on the outside, green, older foliage. And the new growth is got a little tinge of sort of pinky, orangey color. This one, the bright foliage in the spring is, of course, bright yellow. Deeper red color in the fall. So it's a little less susceptible to splitting in the landscape, which a lot of the Rheingolds do. Makes an excellent foundation plant, excellent for low hedges, but you're going to need full sun conditions. Hardy to zone 3, and this one could be kept neatly trimmed and allowed to grow and give you this sort of bright ball look of very fine foliage. Not a bad idea. Nice contrast in shape, color, and texture for the landscape, and evergreen. So a nice foundation plant for sure in sunny conditions. It's going to be brought in by Star Roses and Plants and grown also by J.C. Backer and Sons in St. Catharines. Now, there is a group or a collection of ornamental edibles called brazzleberries. I told you about these many years ago and again recently. Brazzleberries are interesting in the fact that they're suitable for container growing. I got very limited information from the grower. He didn't seem to want to say an awful lot. The person wouldn't even basically give me a handout sheet, care sheet, or any information on it. I have no idea why. I guess he just wasn't prepared. So you're looking at a blueberry that is known as pink icing, blueberry glaze, and blueberry glaze. Yeah, blueberry glaze. Blueberries. 2 of them. And they're both self-fertile blueberries, which means you only need 1. All the other regular blueberries, you need 2 different kinds that can cross with each other. Well suited for the containers. Bear an amazing amount of fruit just on 1 plant. Hardy to zone 5. This one just may be A great one if you're on a deck or a patio. But remember, blueberries do stain, so you may want to be selective on where you put that container. Hardy again to Zone 5. It's being brought in and grown by Byland's Nurseries and Sheridan Nurseries. Now, Wygelia Tuxedo. I got turned off by my Monet Wygelia. I always find that it doesn't do well in clay soils, and it's a little harder to grow. It doesn't, and that one and some of the other colors just don't do well in my garden. I've tried, and either they're too high maintenance, or they're just a pain to grow. In this case, you'll find that this one is supposed to be better. It's a low mounding, compact, and showy. What I like about it is it's got the dark foliage with pure white bell flowers. So there is a nice color contrast. Compact, I like that. It's a low growing mound, but that's all I can tell you. Can't tell you the size on this one, but it is for the front of the bed or along a walkway. Hardy to Zone 4 and brought in from Van Bell Nurseries. So there you go. Take a look and see which ones you really want to grow and in your garden. Some new woody plants for Ontario this coming spring 2015. Start planning now. Start saying, I'm going to rip out that old forsythia. I'm going to get rid of that old honeysuckle, and I'm going to redo that area, and some of these are going to be the plants you're going to want. I'm Bruce Zimmerman. This is the Open Line Garden Show podcast for this week.